Hey everybody, so we are currently in the middle of the basic seminar here, but I wanted to step out and share something that in all the years of being in the seminars and just living my own life, one of the things that we universally struggle with in relationships is how we go into reaction, right? And then the impact that that causes in our relationships out there. And so I want to talk about that for a minute and also talk about why we go into reaction. Have what we call trigger points. Now, these trigger points are created by all of our life's experiences. Ever since we were a little child, as we've gone through life, we've had experiences. Now, some of us had experiences that we call boulders. These are traumatic events. Maybe you were abused. Maybe there was alcoholism or death that occurred in your family, a divorce that happened, a serious illness that happened. Some of us have these experiences that we call boulders. Right now, when those boulders occurred as a child, right, sometimes we don't know why that happened or where it came from, but we feel at fault of those things very often. And so we've learned to believe a certain way about ourselves, that I'm not okay in certain ways, or I'm not loved, or I'm not enough in certain ways. And so we have these beliefs that live inside of ourselves as what we call trigger points. Now, some of us didn't have boulders, but we did all have little sticks or little straws, right? Which are events like you were made fun of, right? You weren't included. You know, a sibling got more attention than you. You were called a nickname, or you weren't the smartest or the prettiest or most handsome, or you weren't, included by other friends or kids, or you were gossiped about or bullied or made fun of in certain ways. And so those events, just like the boulders, created these beliefs about ourselves, that there are certain ways I'm okay and certain ways that I'm not. So whether you experience boulders or straws or a combination of both, we inevitably, at whatever point we are in our lives, we have these trigger points inside. Now, the problem with that is we get into relationship with other human beings. And inevitably, that other person is going to trigger us, bump up against one of those places where we have this past belief, right? And we're going to get upset. We're going to get upset when that happens. We're going to feel hurt, let down, disappointed. Now, we are not properly modeled how to handle our upset as human beings. Right? We're not shown throughout the course of our life that when you get upset, you just talk it out, takes about 2 minutes, and then you're back on track with the person. That's not what happens. Right? Instead, we tend to protect ourselves. When we feel that hurt, we tend to protect ourselves. That protection looks like 3 roles that I'm going to share with you. The first one in this video, then you have to stay tuned for the next 2 videos to get the final 2. The first role we tend to play when we get triggered and we feel hurt is we play the role of victim. We're a victim. Now, with victim, I feel like you've wronged me. And I feel like you're doing this to me. Right? I feel at effect of your behavior. Something you said or did, the person I'm in relationship, something they said or did, right, happens to trigger me in one of those places where I have this past wound. Right? And I feel at effect of your behavior. And so a couple of good indications you're falling into victim. Victims blame. Victims don't take responsibility for their own triggers getting triggered. Right? And looking at what, feelings that created inside me, victims will blame. Make it about you. Make it about the situation. Make it about the company. Make it about my kids. Whatever it is that has me upset. Another indication you're falling into victim. Victims love to complain. Victims will complain to anyone who will listen. Not because I want to resolve it. I just want to get you on my side. I want you to see how badly I'm being treated here. Right? Another indication, victims justify. They have every good reason in the world of why they feel the way they feel. They feel justified. They feel right in their feelings. Right? Because after all, look at how badly I'm being treated here. So this role of victim comes up in so many places in our lives. If you think about it in your most intimate relationships, your significant other doesn't give you the kind of attention that you're wanting. They don't listen to you in a certain way, right? They have more attention on their cell phone than you. They don't say what you want to hear. Maybe they're busy doing something else and you just feel left out, right? Maybe they're doing something irresponsible. They're behaving irresponsibly, and I can just feel at effect of that. I can feel like the victim when that happens. With our kids or with our parents, I'm not given the kind of appreciation that I want, right? And I can feel like the victim when that happens. When my kids don't open up to me and share with me what's going on, I can just feel like the victim. You know, or our parents, when my parents don't understand me or I'm compared to my siblings, I can feel victimized. You know, at work or school, we can feel victimized. We can feel we were passed over for a promotion. We weren't given the recognition we deserve. We didn't get a certain grade that we wanted. We weren't understood by a teacher. People are breaking agreements and no one's doing anything about it. We can feel victimized in all those situations. Now, when we go into that place of victim, our behavior tends to look like not only blaming, complaining, and justifying, but it also looks like whining, pouting, crying, shutting down, getting quiet, you know, withholding, being defensive, maybe stomping around. Why on earth would we behave that way? See, it's a choice to play the role of victim. We choose to go there. Right now, why do we go there? There's a method to our madness, and the reason that we do it is because we're looking to get something from the other person. We're looking for their love. We're looking for their apology. We're looking for them to fix it for us. We're looking for them to change. Now, the problem with behaving like the victim is it doesn't resolve the situation. It never has me feeling great about myself, right? And it certainly doesn't bring about the closeness or connection or support that I'm ultimately looking to get in the relationship. But again, these triggers that I've had for a very, very long time, we don't often know how to effectively handle it when we get upset. Share in the comments below the ways that you find yourself playing the victim. Now, the power in this education is utilizing it for yourself. Oftentimes, we learn tools like this and we use it as a weapon towards others. And so you might have the tendency to see how other people in your life play the victim, and you may want to use this information to go point out that behavior in other people that you love and care about. Not useful, right? Not useful. The only real power in this sort of education or this sort of tool or this sort of learning is utilizing it for yourself and identifying the ways that you fall into this role of victim, because you're the only person that really has control over you. You're the only one that can have something be different for you. And so use it for yourself. Now, stay tuned for the next video, because we're going to go into the second role that we tend to play, and that's the role of martyr.